Welcome to this episode of Travels with Bill. Check out this neat thing on the post. Yeah, it's got a little disco ball there. This is a basket. It's set up for Christmas. You find these all throughout the downtown area. We're in Norquay, Saskatchewan. Well, in this episode, we're not just in Norquay. We'll also be visiting Pelly and Arran and taking a sneak peek at just one house in Kamsack that we promised to come back to after the last time we were in Kamsack filming Christmas lights. We start, though, in Norquay, and it's amazing. We were invited to town by Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for the invite. She said the lights here are amazing, and I tend to agree. They were amazing as we toured town. Now, Norquay has the whole commercial area decorated, and that's kind of rare. You don't see a lot of communities where they decorate all the businesses, but here they do. That's part of what makes it so special. Certainly worth the drive to Norquay to see it all. We're just wandering through the downtown right now, looking at some various Christmas trees, some of the different things on display. Now, Norquay's a fairly busy little town. It's got a lot of businesses in it, so you can certainly find an opportunity for most of what you need. Well, you can always put the kids in there and get some nice pictures during the day of them looking like snowmen. They tell us there's just over 400 people in Norquay, which makes it kind of a small town, but when you see the amount of Christmas lights, it looks anything but small. There's one of the lights they have up on the post going down through the Main Street area, and check this place out. It's a huge amount of lights. We'll zoom in here a little bit and look at some of them. Norquay, by the way, is not even named for someone in Saskatchewan. The name of the community comes from John Norquay. He was a premier of, Manitoba, of all things, from 1878 to 1887. Well, this community is actually not that far from the Manitoba border. About a half hour would get you to Manitoba from here if you travel on down the highway. That's what we're going to be doing as the night goes on, because we're going to film in Norquay for a while, then we'll head down to the road to Pelly, finally we'll end up in Arran, and then we're actually going to cheat with the magic of video a little bit and show you a shot from Kamsack from a different night when we were out filming in some other communities. There's that neat thing on the post again. A little later on, I'm going to show you that in the daylight so you can see exactly what is in there, because it's pretty cool. They're nice and low down too, so you can actually look in them just standing on the street, and they look absolutely amazing. Well, there's Santa waving hi to us. We're moving on to Robinson's store. Here, of course, they're hometown proud. Check out the Christmas lights on the outside. And then I want to make sure you see the windows as well, because what's in the window is, well, just about as cool, really. They were closed when we were touring, obviously, because it was fairly late at night. But there it is. Santa and Olaf is there, too. I even see Sven drawn in the window. I don't know who the artist is, but they've done a great job on drawing. Gifts Galore has some neat stuff too. This one's more inside the window. Check out that. Oh, that is a beautiful Christmas tree, isn't it? That would be something that would look so cool in your house. Another little shot there of one of the baskets along the street. Now, this is sort of, I guess, a park kind of thing, you would say. So there's actually a little gazebo there. There's some space in it if you wanted to come out, I guess, and sit. There's a heater in it too. I don't know when that's on, but certainly you could host a little event here, I suppose. But it looks pretty neat, doesn't it? With the little lights welcoming you into the path. And then on the side of the building, the lights light up these wonderful murals they have painted about Norquay. There's some pretty neat story there. We'll have to come back here in the summer and give you some better shots of those murals and tell you a little bit more about the town too. But here we are just walking into the path of the little area here. Oh, there's Minnie Mouse off to the side. She's enjoying that Christmas tree. Look at all the different colors on it. Well, no wonder Minnie Mouse likes it so much. We've been doing a whole series of Christmas lights on Travels with Bill. So we've been in Dauphin, we've been in Swan River, we've been in Kamsack, Norquay. Tonight we're going to take a look also at some of the lights in Kenora, some of the lights in Yorkton. Those all on future episodes as we celebrate Christmas here in 2021. Norquay, though, is certainly worth coming out to. It's on par with many of those other communities. I know sometimes when you go to a smaller place, you think, oh, there'll only be one or two bits of Christmas lights. Not the case here in Norquay. So Sarah was absolutely right when she said we needed to come to town and take a look at this. Well, there's a Christmas tree in there. See the benches around there? Certainly in the summertime without the snow, it'd be even nicer to be in the little park. But at Christmas time, it's got that Christmas sparkle. The night we were out, well, okay, it was a little bit cold, I'll give it that, but it wasn't too bad. Fingers weren't getting too numb doing the filming. It was just a beautiful Christmas evening, a nice chance to wander around and see the sights. Now, I didn't get to meet too many people from Norquay when we were out. I wasn't knocking on doors. I was just kind of sneaking in and taking pictures of the Christmas Christmas lights. And as always, you know, we certainly tried to pick out a lot of the houses. I know we didn't get them all, so if you don't see your own house here, I'm so sorry about that, but we'll show some of them at the very least. Here's the town of Norquay office. Look at that, North Pole, Santa's house, Santa's workshop, even the reindeer barn all planned out there. A little penguin welcoming you to town. There's one of those fiber optic Christmas trees. You don't see too many of them anymore, but at one time those were really popular, weren't they? Then next door here, oh, check this out. Doesn't that look amazing? I love the window in there, how it's kind of made the window part of the whole display, and some really nice looking Christmas trees as well. They look amazing at night. I'm sure those look good in the day too, but that's Rose Ray Apparel, so worth checking that out. Well, this is over at the Senior Center. Now, I guess their tree's having a little issue. The bottom lights were on the night we were there. The top ones, I could see lights on there, but they didn't seem to be going. But actually, it looks really good, just like this, doesn't it? Nice and bright and shiny. And they've got this neat sleigh going on. Here's Santa with the reindeer. I kind of like that. It's kind of, you know, got that wood look to it, the woven wicker kind of thing. Nice. And on the door, of course, they have a wreath welcoming people to the center. Well, that's kind of cool, isn't it? You can see another one of those town street decorations up there. I love the big star on that. Now we're getting into some of the houses here. We do have one more business. We'll get back to it a bit, but that's kind of neat with the garage, how it has a strip of lights on it, and then the front yard. You can see some of those laser lights on the house too, and I kind of like when those laser lights are there, and it's not just them, right? It's them plus the other lights that really adds something to it. Now, I don't know if you can see it. If you're watching the HD version of this, you'll probably see it better, but the snow is sparkling tonight, so you can actually see all the little sparkles as we film. Oh, it looks amazing. Now, it's worth talking about the HD thing for a minute, because if you watch in full HD, which is what we film in, you certainly see the lights a lot better. If you watch in a lower quality, they're going to be a little bit fuzzy. So if you're watching this and thinking, I don't understand why anybody watches this, well, pump up your quality a little bit. It should auto-detect, but if it doesn't, crank it all the way up to 1080p and you'll see this crystal clear like it's meant to be. Check out the trees there. Aren't they kind of neat with all those lights? Looks like a little bit of ribbon in them too. Some snowmen out front, different snowmen on the other side. I think it's actually garland in those trees perchance. It makes them look so amazing. The green is there, but then the sparkly to go with it. Oh, I absolutely adore that. That is a perfect setup. I'm not sure there's anything you would change there to make it look better. Well, the Norquay campground is here. You may not want to go camping this time of year, but they're in the Christmas season a little bit, and they've got a couple trees set up for you. It looks nice to have them just sort of sitting out there. And again, that's one of those businesses that's really doing their part to celebrate Christmas in Norquay. Almost every single business is decorated, and the campground no exception. It's also kind of nice. I do like those trees just like that. This one, okay, there's only one tree, but it looked so cool we had to come see it. A little bit of an apartment thing going on there, but look at the tree. So it's one of those normal LED trees. They've added some lights to it to give it some color as well instead of just the white. I wanted you to see how they did that, because that would be something you could do at your house too if you wanted to change it up a little bit. Well, remember before blow-ups when they used to have the actual plastic shells? There's one of those on the steps, but what we really came here to see is this bear. Check out his head. He's looking back and forth. Isn't that kind of cool? I like how he looks at you and then looks away. Thankfully, the polar bear doesn't seem to be walking around too much, so we won't have to worry about him eating us tonight. Now this is, well, it's cool. It's got solar light, so by the time we were there at night, it wasn't too terribly bright. And it would be kind of better if it was daylight. It's a neat little truck that's set up here with a display. So maybe what we need is just a little bit of movie magic here, and we'll turn the sun on and show you what this looks like. Ah, that's better. Now you can see it. Isn't this cool? It's all set up. This is sort of in the downtown area of Norquay. It's got a neat little nativity scene there, but it's got lots of other stuff. See the skate and the sled? That's kind of cool. I would do a little zoom in here on the nativity scene so you can see exactly what's going on. I like that. I can't say that I've ever seen that particular setup anywhere else we've been, so I don't know where they found it, but it looks nice, and I love the little like green things. It almost looks like corn in the back there. So perfect looking in the daylight. Now, speaking of daylight, let's take a look at someplace you should probably stop and eat when you're in Norquay. This is the Whistle Stop. See the tires there? Isn't that cool how it's made into a minion? Now, they don't have a lot of Christmas lights on, so I showed it to you in the daytime because, of course, it's a railway station. And you know how I feel about trains. Any train is a good train, and if you can't have a train, well, a railway station will do, especially if it's called the Whistle Stop and it has a picture of a train. Now, I've eaten here a few times. It is perfect. In fact, it's been in a lot of magazines. When you drop by, you can see some of the magazines it's been in. They are really proud of the place, and well, it's pretty good food too, so worth stopping in. We should come back a different day and I'll show you what it looks like inside, because it's perfect inside too. For today though, we just get to see the outside. There's the hours if you're dropping by and want to get some food. Now, I did promise you earlier we were going to look at one of these baskets during the day too, so we'll get that done here. Check it out. It is pretty cool. I love the disco ball under it. But then when you come around the front, see how it's all decorated in the front? So during the day, when the lights don't really show, this is here and it looks so good. This is what you could put at your house. The fact they have these all throughout the downtown, though, is amazing. They're hanging off the posts so everybody can see them. And you see a lot of towns with Christmas baskets in the summertime, but see a Christmas basket? Perfect choice. Here's that little park again we were in a couple minutes ago. There's those murals, and yeah, we certainly have to come back here in the summer. Let's switch back to nighttime viewing and look at some more Christmas lights. Here's the red and white kind of aspect going on. You see this on a few houses. Kind of cool, really, when it's just the red and the white. I love the little tree. And again, it's kind of decorated, right? It's got some extra pieces added to it, and then the red one's up on the deck there. That looks pretty nice. A wreath there sort of adds a little bit to it. We're here to look at these candles because they're the older style candles, but they're not the normal ones. We see a lot of those red ones with just a yellow top. These ones actually have some writing on them. They say Noel. They've got a couple snowflakes. They're certainly, I don't know if you can buy these anymore. They're kind of a collector's item, but they look nice, and then they light up the wreath on the door there too. Oh, I like the vintage Christmas ornaments. Those are always kind of cool. This house is bright. Now, because of how LED bulbs work, these particular ones are giving off a lot of infrared as well. So in person, those blue strips are actually really colorful. On the camera, they just turn out kind of white and blue, but yeah, you should see it in person. This one, well, the lights are cool, but what we're really here to see is the snowbank, because this is one heck of a snowbank. Check out how much snow is sitting in the side there. You know, if you tried to do that, it would be impossible to get the snow to drift like that, but Mother Nature's done a pretty good job. I wouldn't stand under it, though, would I? This is the accounting place in town, another one of those businesses. We've jumped back here onto Main Street to show you some of their decorations. Now, their Merry Christmas wasn't on. I see bulbs on it, so whether it's just not working or they forgot to plug it in that night, don't know, but it's still there. You can see it looks nice, but check out all the other work they've done. This is not just something that took a couple minutes. They've done a lot of work here to make this look perfect. And it's one of those spots you can kind of look at for a while and keep finding something new as you keep looking around, whether it's the bird houses, maybe you find the little fence there with the candy cane striping on it, or even just some of the things on the deck. All of it looks so perfect, and it kind of welcomes you into the downtown area. We're heading across town now and looking at some more houses, of course, because there's quite a few houses decorated in Norquay. This one, I love that little, it's not really fence, I guess they're shrubs is what it is, with the red lights run throughout them, then they turn to blue here at the corner. The garage lit up as well, and some nice little designs in the front yard. It's a very festive looking house for the holidays, and then to finish it off, they've got the little tree there going on the side too. And coming a little bit closer, I want you to see these Christmas trees. They're the wooden style Christmas trees. You know, those would be pretty easy to make. If you had some 1x6s, you could easily make one of those, paint it up as a summer project, and the kids could help you with it, end up with some beautiful trees for the yard just in time for Christmas. So if you're thinking of driving to Norquay, certainly, it took us maybe an hour to travel around town and film the lights. So your travel time in town would probably be about 20 minutes or so by the time you drove all of the streets of it. So you could certainly do it in the evening. If you're coming here from Swan River, Yorkton, any place like that, worth coming on out to see the town, and then maybe you do stop at the Whistle Stop. Maybe before, have supper there, then tour the lights. Could be quite doable. Here's a neat house. They've got a tree going on. These are just multicolor LED lights, but doesn't it kind of like shine in the night? I like that. Sometimes they're really, really bright, but here it's just a little bit darker, but it's a very nice look too. One thing you may notice when we're filming in Norquay, You'll notice the snow tends to be yellow in quite a few places. Norquay has not yet changed to LED streetlights. So anytime we're close to a streetlight, there's still the high pressure sodium. So they have that real yellow look to them. And some of these shots, you'll notice the yellow in it. That's what's happening there. The communities that have changed to the LED light, it's a lot whiter. So when you get some light pollution from LED lights, here you see the yellow in that snow? That's why it's looking so yellow. The LED is very white, so you don't notice it nearly as yellow in the nighttime footage. It doesn't detract from the lights at all. When you're there in person, your eyes do a much better job of picking them out. It's just when you're actually looking on camera. Sometimes you see that, so I wanted to let you know why that is. Now we have the Grinch here, but check out the Christmas tree. It is... Oh, I want to have one of these at home. I'm going to walk right up on their deck. Because, I want to give you a close-up, and if it's your deck, I'm really sorry, but, we just had to go see because it was so good. Look at that, how it's like strips of ribbon, and it's the sides of the ribbon that are colored. Now, I assume they bought that someplace, but maybe they've made it. I've never seen one like it before. So it qualifies as one of those very unique Christmas decorations, and every time you see something so different, well, I get really excited because it's so neat to see something that's, maybe it came from far away, maybe they made it themselves, but it's not just every house the same thing. Kind of cool. Well, moving on to the next house here, check out the little display in front. They've got a couple trees there as well, those wooden trees they've made, but then they've got Mr. Snowman's here. It looks like we've got a reindeer as well, sleigh with some gifts in it, and a couple tree stumps, and the trees are wrapped in lights. That looks kind of cool. There's a place not too far from here that does tree light wrapping. That's Kenora. It's coming up in a future episode of Travels with Bill, and you can see how you can wrap trees. Well, like this, they go a lot further in Kenora, but it's kind of cool. You'll have to watch for that one. Here's a red tree and a green tree with the lights put in. That looks good too. A lot of people just do the multicolored trees, but when you separate the light colors out like this, it's quite a nice look. If you look way into the house, there's a little bit of a shrub there covered with them as well. Check out this one. These guys have been busy. Now, I've got a kind of thing. I don't like to walk into the yard and make fresh tracks in the snow because I know some people really like their snow. Thankfully, these guys look like they've been tobogganing in the yard, so I walked right in because I didn't have to worry about making too many tracks for them. But they've got some neat stuff here. Check out the unicorn. Isn't that cool? At first I thought maybe that was a cow, but nope. It's a unicorn. It's got the horn. I love the old school train. Who said there wouldn't be a train when we're doing a Christmas episode? Here's Scooby-Doo ready for you with a Christmas bone. And a fire truck as well. Looks like Paw Patrol is on its way to a fire with some gifts. Here's a close-up of that unicorn. Isn't that cute? I don't know if it's really Christmas, but it looks perfectly in place here to have it set up as part of the Christmas display. And the house is cool too. There's Mr. Snowman, nice welcome sign, even some gifts right at the door, and I love, that little bit of garland over top of the door too. A lot of people now are doing more than just lights. They're adding that garland in. Oh, and you can see a Rough Rider sign. I guess these people must be fans of the green and white. Well, we are in Saskatchewan. You can't blame them for liking the Riders, can you? You see some funny things when you're out about doing Christmas lights. See the tracks in the snow there? So that's what I try not to do, right? I don't want to walk in fresh snow and leave tracks like that, and the people are like, why did you mess up our snow? But here there was another reason to not walk. Do you see what's happened there? Somebody has decapitated that snowman. And I'm not quite sure why they did, but the poor little guy is missing his head. Whether they walked over there to try to fix him or not, we may never know. But check out, R2-D2 is there with the Santa hat on. That's kind of cool too, isn't it? Do another little pass by here. See? That snowman, he's supposed to be standing up, but it looks like he's lost his head. Well, hopefully it wasn't some kid just out wrecking things. Here's a church, and we stopped here. Not a bit of color to this. One floodlight, but check it out. Isn't that cool? It's the shadow that does it for me, right? Sure, it has a little nativity there, and you can go and look at the nativity, but the shadow's twice the size on the wall, and it looks perfect. Here's the actual nativity, but then if we look to the back a little bit, that's what you really notice as you drive by, and it looks, so much like Christmas. They did a great job there. You wouldn't think so simple could be so effective, but it is. Here's that same kind of nativity. This one's painted a little bit. Lots of lights going on here. And it looks good too, right? Well, have you ever seen a house with Christmas lights that didn't look good? I don't think that really happens, does it? Because they all look really good. This house is a little bit tough to get to. It's sort of down a road. And I don't know if I really should have been walking in there or not. But I did. because it looked nice and I wanted to make sure you saw what the lights looked like. It's kind of cool, isn't it? Well, Norquay has all sorts of lights. We've seen quite a few of them already. There are more in town though, so if you drive around, you'll see more than we've shown you here. But it's time to hop in the Travels with the Bill van and get going. Check this out. We're in Pelly now. This is right along the highway, and they've wrapped the tree. If you watch close though, see how the lights are blinking too? So it's not just wrapped, they've also got the lights changing there. Love it. It looks so bright and white and welcoming to the town when you come in. I had to stop and walk through a snowbank to get close enough, but when you see this from the road, you know the folks here are really excited about Christmas. Looks like they've got a little bit of a polar bear there too. Here's some neat guys, Mr. Snowman, and well, I guess we'll call that a reindeer. Could be an elk or something too, but that's Christmas time. So clearly it must be a reindeer. I like that though, it's the metal frame with the lights on it. Very nice looking, I think so. I would be happy to have that in my front yard looking like a little bit of Christmas. I'm going to show you one more house in Pelly, and it's kind of cool. They've done some work here for this one. These are kind of the original looking Christmas lights, you know, the glass bulbs, not the LED. They shine so bright. And back when you used to see them everywhere, maybe it wasn't special, but now that so much is LED, when you do see one that's the original kind of lights, they have that look to them that you just can't get anywhere else. No LED will ever look the same as these do. They look cool. They've wrapped them around the trees there, have a nice little fence going on as well. Well, that is pretty fancy, I think. I could probably even accomplish this too, because I have a hard time. I don't know about you, but I never get my lights up on time. I'm lucky to have any lights outside. I do get some put up in the house, but that's part of why I like filming Christmas lights so much, as other people do such an amazing job of it. Oh, I know I'm not going to keep up, so I may as well just go look at theirs, and really, it always puts mine to shame. If you're thinking of touring through Pelly, you know, it's not that far from Norquay. You can make a night of it, supper in Norquay, look at the lights there, then do exactly what we've done here. Skip on over to Pelly and then skip on over to Arran, and you'll find this house. They've done a lot of work here, and there's a thing that I should probably have gone back in the daytime to film, and I didn't. But check out this little sign. You can't see it very well. It's kind of cut out of metal. It says Merry Christmas. It has their name there, Herenko family, Santa's Workshop. It's cool how they've put that up for Christmas. I don't know where they got it. They must have had it cut at one of those metal shops. Looks amazing though. Here we have a moose, a Christmas moose, of course. He's got a little ribbon on him, some presents there. Lots of trees decorated up here as well. See Santa hanging there from the tree? I think he was trying to put up some lights. He didn't quite make it, but that's okay. It's a very cute yard here. The presents always do something for me. See the ones in the back there, they're kind of gold and red? Those are nice too. Some blow-up Santa there, then the wireframe other guys, Santa hanging from the tree. I felt bad for him. He must have, well, I don't know, maybe he fell off the roof and ended up on the tree a little bit. In any case, looks really nice. They've done a great job decorating their yard. The closer you get to Christmas, the more Christmas lights you find, of course. We were actually through Arran, Pelly, a couple weeks back when we were filming on this Kamsack episode we did. We dropped through here and we didn't actually find most of these lights that first try. So as Christmas gets a little closer, more people get them put up, it just gets more and more festive. In fact, in a moment here, we're going to go visit a house in Kamsack, and driving through Kamsack, lots more lights up there than you saw in the episode as well. That should be encouragement to you if you're anywhere close to these places to drop by and see the houses. I love that red tree, and then there's a little bit of white lights at the bottom of it, then multicolored on the house. This is pretty cool. They go around the corner here. It doesn't show as good as it could, but the house is wonderful. This is still on Arran, so if you drive through there, make sure you drive around until you find this house. It's right close to the downtown, so it's not that hard to find, and it looks perfect. Well, here we are in Kamsack. You may recognize this house from the Kamsack episode, and I told you then, wouldn't it be nice if we could see it when it was finished? Well, it is now. See how the lights were off there to start? So a bit of a funny story. I show up, and it's getting fairly late at night, because I've been in a couple different towns already filming all night long since it got dark. I drive up here as the lights turn off. So I had to go bug the guy and say, could you please just turn them back on for a minute? Because I came a long way to film, and we don't want to miss this. And he did. That's why you saw them going back on there. I thought it was kind of cool. Check out all of the wood things. These are all added since our last visit, and these are all made by the people that live here. They cut them out, they paint them, they make them look amazing. Oh, this is his favorite Yep, Snoopy up there on the doghouse with the star on top. He's actually talking about maybe adding a little bit more to that yet. Might not get done this season, but certainly will get done at some point to make the house even more festive. Now, if you remember back to the Kamsack episode, we'll put a link in the description to the whole episode about Kamsack. You could see this before the wood ornaments were all out. It looked good then, but it looks even better now. These are the folks that only moved to town, well, a little more than a year ago, I guess. Last Christmas, they were in a different house with not as big a yard. They're here now, and they are out to show you just how many lights they can come up with, and they've done a pretty good job of that, haven't they? There's lights everywhere, outside, inside, the fence with the candy canes holding it up. Oh my, there's even the Grinch, and it looks like he's trying to steal some lights off of the Christmas house. Well, that happens, I suppose. We visited for a while after I filmed it, so we got talking about Christmas lights and what makes them so special. You know what? It's the same thing you find almost everybody with a big display like this. They love Christmas lights, they love Christmas, but what they really love is you seeing them, because they're putting these up for you. If it was for them, they wouldn't face the road, they'd face them towards the windows so they could see them from inside. The whole idea of this is to spread some Christmas cheer with people that get to go by and see it. That's why they're so happy, when a vehicle pulls up and goes slow, or the kids get out to look a little bit. Everybody loves that, because they wouldn't put up the Christmas lights if they weren't wanting to share them with you. And, well, hopefully by video at least you get to see some of them as well. But if you do get a chance to go out, everybody that you see with one of these big decorated houses just loves when they see the kids stop by, even the parents. Vehicles slow down, windows open, and it just makes them feel so special. So again, this is Kamsack. Remember, we do have a full episode about Kamsack. We're simply back because this house wasn't done the first time we were filming. We wanted you to see everything that got added to it. And of course, special thanks to the people that live here too for turning the lights back on for us. It was so helpful to have them flip them back on, because it wasn't really something I wanted to do, drive back to Kamsack a third time for the house. Well, that does it for this episode of Travels with Bill. Hopefully you've enjoyed some more Christmas lights, and you have yourself a Merry Christmas. We certainly will too. More episodes to come of lights from all sorts of places. Make sure you subscribe to Travels with Bill so you see them all.